Fargard 7.1-5. How long after death the Nasu falls upon the dead? 6-9. How far the defiling power of the Nasu extends? 10-22. Cleansing of clothes defiled by the dead. 23 and 24. Eating of corpses, an abomination. 25-27. Bringing corpses to fire or water, an abomination. 26-35. Cleansing of wood and corn defiled by the dead. And of course, by corn we mean kernels, not, well, I mean, it applies to corn, I guess, too, but you know what I mean. They didn't have corn. 36-40. Physicians, their probation. 40-44, their fees. I'm trying to make it look like an A or B. I don't remember the sign language. 45-59, purification of the earth, of the dogmas. The dogmas and the da'avas. 60-72, treatment of a woman who has brought forth a stillborn child. 73-75, cleansing of vessels defiled by the dead. 76, cleansing of the cow. 77, unclean libations. This chapter would offer tolerable unity, but for a digression on medicine, which would be better placed as an introduction to the last 3 chapters, sections 2 and 9, parts of which have already been found in Fargard 5 are more suitably placed here. This chapter as a whole deals with the action of the Dragnasu from the moment she takes hold of the corpse, and shows how, when the several objects she has defiled become clean, namely clothes, wood, corn, and other grains, earth, women, vessels, and cows. And by corn, they typically mean like wheat or barley or something. So, I mean, that is so, I'm sure that would be confusing for a lot of people, so that's why I mentioned. So part 1 compromises what is listed here as 1, 3, 3 again, 5, and 6. 1. Zarathustra acts to Ahura Mazda. O Ahura Mazda, most beneficent spirit, maker of the material world, thou holy one, when a man dies, at what moment does the Dragnasu rush upon him? 3. Ahura Mazda answered, directly after death, as soon as the soul has left the body, O Spitama Zarathustra, the Dragnasu comes and rushes upon him from the regions of the north, in the shape of the raging fly, with the knees and tail sticking out, all stained with stains, and like unto the foulest craftsstraws. And it's believed that hell is in the north, or at least the domain of the demons. 3, might we say 4 though? On him, she says, she stays until the dog has seen the corpse, or eaten it up, or until the flesh-eating birds have taken flight towards it. When the dog has seen it, or eaten it up, or when the flesh-eating birds have taken flight towards it, then the Drugnasu rushes away to the regions of the north in the shape of a raging fly, with knees and tails sticking out, all stained with stains, and like out of the foulest craftsstraws. Until the Sogdeed is the dog seeing the corpse and the flight towards it. So the sog deed may be performed by birds of prey as well as by dogs. The dog smites the nasu when it brings its muzzle near to the dead corpse. The bird, mountain hawk, sparrow, or eagle, when its shadow passes over the body. 5. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if the man has been killed by a dog or by a wolf or by witchcraft or by the artifices of hatred or by falling down of a precipice or by the law or by a murderer or by the noose, how long after death does the Drugnasu come and rush upon the dead? And so, or by the law means by men, literally. And by the noose could refer to suicide. And hatred may refer to poison. 6. Ahura Mazda answered, at the next watch after death, the Drugnasu comes and rushes upon the dead from the regions of the north, in the shape of a raging fly with knees and tail sticking out, all stained with stains, and like unto the foulest crofstras. The day is divided into 5 watches, or ratu. If the man dies a natural death, the Drug comes directly. If the death be violent and unlocked for, the Drug is taken unawares, and it requires time for her to be warned of it and to come. And, the 5 watches in this day and age are dawn to sunrise, early afternoon, late afternoon, evening, and dusk to dawn. And part 2 compromises what is called 7, 11, 17, 21. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, if there be a number of men resting in the same place, on adjoining carpets, on adjoining pillows, be there 2 men near one another, or 5 or 50 or 100 close by one another, and of those people one happens to die, how many of them does the Drugnasu envelop with infection, pollution, and uncleanliness? 11. Ahura Mazda answered, if the dead one be a priest, the Drugnasu rushes forth Ospitama Zarathustra, she falls on the 11th and defiles the 10. If the dead one be a warrior, the Drugnasu rushes forth Ospitama Zarathustra, she falls on the 10th and defiles the 9. If the dead one be a husbandman, the Drugnasu rushes forth Ospitama Zarathustra, she falls on the 9th and defiles the 8th. 17. If it be a shepherd's dog, the Drugnasu rushes forth Ospitama Zarathustra, she falls on the 8th and defiles the 7th. If it be a house dog, the Drugnasu rushes forth Ospitama Zarathustra, she falls on the 7th and defiles the 6th. 21. If it be of a Nazga dog, the Drugnasu rushes forth Ospitama Zarathustra, she falls on the 6th and defiles the 5. If it be a young dog, the Drugnasu rushes forth Ospitama Zarathustra, she falls on the 5th and defiles the 4. Those clothes shall serve for their coverings and for their sheets. This enumeration is less complete than that in the 5th Fargard, as it compromises only the first 4 sorts of dogs, viz. Only those that can perform the sog deed. 3 compromises what he calls 26, 27, 28, 29, 33, 35, 37, 41, 43, 45, 49, 52, and 55. 26. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, what part of his bedding and pillow does the Drugnasu defile with infection, uncleanliness, and pollution? 27. Ahura Mazda answered, the Drugnasu defiles with infection, uncleanliness, and pollution the upper sheet and the inner garment. And that is to say, on those clothes which have been in direct contact with the dead. And, we're also talking about the bedding. 28. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, can that garment be made clean, O Ahura Mazda, that has been touched by the carcass of a dog or the corpse of a man? 29. Ahura Mazda answered, It can, O holy Zarathustra. How so? If indeed the garment has been defiled with seed or sweat or dirt or vomit, the worshipper of Mazda shall rend it to pieces and bury it in the ground. Now, according to the commentary, only that part which has been defiled is rent off, and the rest may be still used. And in Islam, Islam, for example, teaches that people can clean off anything, and there's a difference between menstruation, the post-childbirth waiting period, and sexual fluids or having sex with it. It's called keep away from. It's not called this. It's defilement. Filth is something else, but we don't have a distinction between that in at least what's left of this tradition here. 33. But if it has not been defiled with seed or sweat or dirt or vomit, then the worshippers of Mazda shall wash it with gomez. And they also don't intentionally put animal urine on themselves, so that's another difference there. 35. If it be leather, they shall wash it with gomez 3 times. They shall rub it with earth 3 times. They shall wash it with water 3 times, and afterwards they shall expose it to the air for 3 months at the window of the house. If it be woven cloth, they shall wash it with gomez 6 times. They shall rub it with earth 6 times. They shall wash it with the water 6 times, and afterwards they shall expose it to the air for 6 months at the window of the house. And the comment on, well, I guess there's not any additional comment to 15. 37. The spring named Ardvi Sura, O Spitima Zarathustra, that spring of mine, purifies the seed in man, the fruit in a woman's womb, the milk in a woman's breast. 41. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, can those clothes, when once washed and cleansed, ever be used by either a Za'atar, or by a Havanan, or by an Atare Vaksha, or by a Frabar Atar, or by an Abared, or by an Asnatar, or by a Rathwiskar, or by a Sra Asha Varez, or by any priest, warrior, or husbandman? And Yasna 65:5 is mentioned in verse 16 there, or at least it's the same words regarding the female entity of the waters. And we continue with 45. If there be in a Mazdian house a woman who is in her sickness, or a man who has become unfit for work, or who must sit in the place of infirmity, those clothes which shall serve for their coverings and for their sheets until they can withdraw and move their hands. 49. Ahura Mazda indeed does not allow us to waste anything of value that we may have, not even so much as an asperena's weight of thread, not even so much as a maid lets fall in spinning. 52. Whosoever throws any clothing on a dead body, even so much as a maid lets fall in spinning, is not a pious man whilst alive, nor shall he, when dead, have a place in the happy realm. 55. He shall go away into the world of the fiends, into that dark world made of darkness, the offspring of darkness, through that world to the dismal realm. You are delivered by your own doings, by your own souls, O sinners. Part 4 compromises what he calls 59 and 60. O Maker of the material world, thou Holy One, can he be clean again who has eaten of the carcass of a dog, or the carcass of a man? In India, they call people dog eaters, but if they're doing what they need to do to survive, maybe the criticism goes on to people with abundance that leave these people doing that sort of thing, but they're thought too large. The Nasu is thought to dwell in them, or eating the carcass. 60. Ahura Mazda answered, "He cannot, O holy Zarathustra. His burrow shall be dug out, and his life shall be torn out. His right eye shall be put out, and the Drug Nasu falls upon him, takes hold of him even to the end of the nails, and he is unclean thenceforth, forever and ever." His house is assimilated to a devouring craftstra, undesirable animal, basically. To the resurrection it is preached in the Vendidad that if a man shall eat of a carcass, his house and family shall be destroyed. His heart shall be torn out of his body. His eyes shall be put out, and his soul shall abide in hell till the resurrection. Star 71, Hide 7.9. He who eats of a carcass with the sinful intent is both unclean and a margarzon. Brashnum and Nirang are of no avail for him. He must die. If there has been no sinful intent, he may wash himself. One may give him the ashes of the Gomez. He is unclean. He is not margarzon. And 5 compromises what he calls 65, 66, and 69. 65. O maker of the material world, thou holy one, can he be clean again, O holy Ahura Mazda, who has brought a corpse with filth into the waters, or unto the fire, and made either unclean? 66. Ahura Mazda answered, "He cannot, O holy Zarathustra. Those wicked ones it is. Those men turned to Nasus that most increase gnats and locusts. Those wicked ones it is. Those men turned to Nasus that most increase the grass-destroying drought." And it's said in, the Nasu makers, it is said in the Avesta that when there are many gnats and locusts, it is owing to corpses having been brought to water and to fire. Siddhar 72, Hide 80, and 69. Those wicked ones it is, those men turned to Nasus, that increase most the power of the winter, produced by the fiends, the cattle-killing, thick snowing, overflowing, the piercing, fierce, mischievous winter. Upon them comes and rushes the Drug Nasu. She takes hold of them even to the end of the nails. They are unclean thenceforth and forever. And Siddhar 72 and Hide 80, in the same way, by the bringing of the corpse, the water, the fire, the winter grows colder and summer grows warmer. Whosoever shall do that deed shall pay for it in this world and in the next, and they shall flay his body in the presence of the assembly, and they shall tear him limb from limb, and his corpse shall be thrown away to the dogs and ravens. And when his soul comes to the other world, he shall suffer tortures from the devs,